Basically, I went to Lush and I got some of their henna. This is henna that's actually mixed with indigo. And a while ago, I did like a Mindy pattern on my hand, and oof, I still feel it. Even when I record it, I feel it extra hard. Um, so today, my plan is to completely dye both hands, and this is supposed to be used as hair dye. And when I went there, like, shout out to the staff at Lush. They were like, "You can't do it. It's impossible." And I told them, "Hey, I eat impossible for lunch, bitch." I didn't say that, but that was the energy. I'm sorry, I just smacked another piece off of it. I was realizing also maybe just showing you this pile of shit is like not interesting. Look at my face instead. Um, so basically, I'm like breaking it up. My spirit team is like, you're using too much. I'm gonna put some back. But I'm supposed to I'm supposed to break it up with my hands and then add boiling water. And probably the more I break it up, the better it's going to be. That's probably what they're trying to tell me. It's like in terms of surface area, if I just break it up, it'll be better. Yes, my child. So I'm going to go to the effort of breaking it up. But with uh, henna and Mindy applications, you typically want to leave it on your hands for at least 2 hours, ideally overnight. And how I've decided that I'm going to go about doing that, considering that, my hands are going to be fucking saturated with like this paste, is that I've got these gloves, you see. Shout out to Walgreens. And I'm just going to have my hands covered in goop and stuffed in those gloves. And it's going to be, I think, a spiritual kind of experience to have less physical utility in my hand as I upgrade the spiritual utility, because even in doing this process, I feel like the Reiki channels in my hands opening up. I felt like compelled to do the henna treatment, but I moved down south. Although some could argue that Baltimore is the South. If you're from the North, you think it's the South. If you're from the South, you think it's the North, and that makes sense. But like the traditions of indigo on the hands for spiritual practitioners is one that I learned about when I came down here. And like before, it's something that I had tried to do just intuitively. So I think it's really neat. There's a part of me that when I moved, I was like, there was this sense of soul recognition walking down one of the streets. I was like, fuck. And it's like, I don't know if my people are from here or it's like a past life thing. But there's this really strong sense of this is where I'm supposed to be. While I'm doing this, I should be boiling the water. I don't really need as much water as the little video proclaimed. Let me see if I can get it all in here. Not really. I don't need as much water as the video, because when you apply it to your hair, it should be like an applesauce consistency, and this is going to be thick. So I feel like a little dab will do me. And because, like I said, it's going right on my hands, it's going to be fun because, although I'm about to use boiling water. I probably shouldn't touch it, but I don't know, man. I'm in a weird space. I'm on some Ranma 1/2 shit. If you know the vibes, you know the vibes. But I'm just gonna like mix it in with my hands, and I think that'll be a part of the process too. Because as much as I would love to have like a perfect, even um, covering of this, which I feel like the more I like really pile on, the more intense it will be. I think the any like quote unquote imperfection in the dye will actually be more of a liturgy to the process. And the process is really the magical part, right? And the dye is just a symbol of it. But I wanted to get it in. I feel like now's a good time because uh, the sun is conjunct with my Mercury, and my Mercury is in my eighth house, so it's just gonna hit. I just got a text from my mama. Isn't that magical? Sometimes I really think about like DNA, right? And like what it means to have trauma passed down in the DNA. And uh, it's tough because I really want to air out my family's business like all the time, every day. But just coming to the realizations that some of like the trauma responses that I have are not related to my own personal traumas. I'm like actually like experiencing and healing the traumas of my mother, right? And of my father, like both parents, right? And so doing practices like this that have like ancestral roots that go deep in this country, right? I might feel like called to do this and impassioned to do this because there might have been someone in my lineage who worked with indigo as their unconsensual job type shit. And so to really just kind of like dig into it is really fun. And the storytelling aspect while I do it feels really indigenous. I also find myself like it's like a double edged sword. My furniture hasn't like arrived yet, so I'm doing a lot of like standing and talking. And it's like I really like standing. I have like injuries that make sitting and laying down and rising from said position suck ass. So the discomfort of walking and standing sometimes can be preferable, depending on how my body's feeling. Ever since I relocated my hip, though, standing has been a lot easier. Maybe that's why it sucked. My hip was dislocated because it's like a shitty part of my journey. But like I had surgery, I had complications from surgery that involved me like moving in unnatural ways because I was like dying low key, felt like I was. And then I experienced homelessness, which had me in a lot of like movement, repositioning, falling that like I really shouldn't have been in. And so I never like really even healed from my surgery. And I was talking to a male doctor about it. And they're like, it was 2 years ago. You should be fine. I'm like, I need a woman in here. Someone find me a woman that I can talk to about like having a uterus because I don't know, maybe it's because men their balls aren't really like a part of their body, like their gonads and stuff. It's like a separation. Whereas like for like if I lost one of my fingers, that would really suck. and I would probably adapt to that, and I might have phantom limb pain and stuff like that. But I feel like physically, yeah, that would heal in a couple of years. But we're talking more about like losing a kidney or something like that. It's like um, I lost 5 organs in one day. And you're like, most people walk out of here. And I feel like that's fucked up. That whole thing's like, most people walk out of their hysterectomy things. And it's like, yeah, it's because we're drugged up to high heavens, bro. You have me on the highest dosage of uh, opiates I've ever been on. And then I had like a whole spiritual experience because I didn't have access to the opiates afterwards, which is great because I didn't really want to take them. I did more of like a cannabis, gabapentin, Motrin, Aleve route, Tylenol kind of vibe. I'm a bad bitch. But like detoxing from that level of opioids in my body gave me like an out of body spiritual experience. I kept having um like spiritual near death experiences, bro. It was very intense. And it's like, well, who says you died? I was like, I don't know. It wasn't tied up to a lot of equipment. Just a lot of fainting episodes, a lot of passing out, a lot of like spectral experiences, out of body experiences, dissociative experiences. And um, I was already on kind of like a spiritual path, but like when you get pushed into a survival mode, like you have to rely on extrasensory, yeah, there should be enough, on extrasensory input. And that's why a lot of like homeless people seem insane, is because um, they've kind of like tapped into other methods for survival. And so I guess that's why a lot of rich people seem insane too. There's like a sense of like you reach a point where you have to kind of like tap into something that's greater than you in order to um, survive, I guess. Thrive. Let me show you well, this is how my hands look. This is about like the consistency that I've gotten the henna to, and I'm still kind of like mashing it up a little in my hands. The water is like near to boiling. I'm gonna wait till it like boils vigorously. I don't know if this can handle boiling water, but it should. It's like dishwasher safe. I'm gonna double it up. Cause I know you can't really put henna with metal because it has like a response, like a chemical reaction. Just gonna let it in there, sit a bit, cool, and then I'm gonna mix it further and then apply it. So I guess I'll open this up now. But I think the most interesting part about my experience is that like all of the activity that I kind of like went through, I was almost like pushed, or I kept craving these moments of stillness. So um, I spent some time camping, I've been in a couple of shelters, but within the shelter environment, I often found myself just kind of like leaving to find places that were like quiet. And I've found myself like channeling a lot of like my rage and confusion into like song and dance. I used to be more of a writer, and now I find myself to be more of like an orator. There's like this intense need to like move, and I'm a life path number 5, so I've been feeling that shit extra heavy, especially when I be dipping out of places and people don't expect that shit. But yeah, it's all kind of led me to this point where, I became a Reiki healer for the bit. Like, I did a meme that kind of caught on. And then I learned more about Reiki and realized I was kind of like already doing Reiki. And I just went through the different, I've accepted like 9 attunements in Kundalini Reiki. And I'm working through um, my gold Reiki attunements now. I'm level 1 with gold Reiki, I think. Working through 2 and how it's affecting my channel and stuff. I kind of like took the chi balls. I'm kind of doing it on my own pace. It was like a very like self-paced course that I really wouldn't recommend unless you already had like spirit kind of guiding me through it, because it's like I got the energy from the Reiki master, and now my spirit team is like teaching me how to move it. I think this would probably bump me through 2 and start me on 3. Not even gonna lie. And I'll be gold Reiki master. I want to do Holy Fire in a Sui, but I don't know. Maybe this is enough, right? The water's boiling. Let's get this bread. So I hope in the process of recording I don't fuck it up. I'm gonna like, I guess like. Oh, my stove dings. It's so cute. Kind of doing like a folding it in, I guess. Yeah, that feels right. I guess I'm gonna be careful not to touch it. Oh, that's probably too much. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to edit that like a lot. That looks like the right consistency, if not like too dense. I didn't know, but I have a plastic spoon, so I'm gonna stir it a little bit. This is not cinematic, but who gives a fuck? I feel like that's about right. Maybe a little bit more just to get a little bit more product. Yeah. I had to stop talking and lock in. So I think this is going to be the consistency. It's a little bit wetter than I think is good, but it's like so fucking hot that it like needs to cool down anyway. Should have put some cold water in, I guess, but I'll let it cool down, and then I'm just gonna like start slathering on my hands. I'm gonna put some binaural beats on a loop. I'm gonna probably drink this coffee. I'm gonna like drink this coffee, drink some water, piss, because it's gonna be the last non-weird piss I take for about 4 to 5 hours. And I think part of the meditation that I'll do is that I've been just kind of like, ooh, my stove's still on. Been suffering with grief in events that like feel impossible to hold, not because I'm not strong enough, but just because they feel intangential. Like I can't hold them. Like I can't grasp them. And I think kind of like being in this like mildly debilitated state from, just being covered in henna and gloves. I'll be like, oh my god, I look like Dr. Frankenfurter with the fit. It's kind of crazy. I just thought of that. Um, But yeah, it's gonna be like a good metaphor that hopefully as I meditate on that and meditate on my hands and honestly what my hands have been through, because there's been periods of the journey where I couldn't use my hands. It was fucked up shit. Um, just gonna like really sit with that and see what happens. And yeah, I guess I'll see you on the other side because I really don't want to be trying to play with my phone. Um, I want to put on like 18 million hours of Let's Plays, but I know I need to go to either my binaural beats or my library playlist, and maybe I'll just sit by the library. There's a lot of like spaces in my mind palace. Oh, it makes my stomach hurt to talk about it. My mind palace is more like a mind kingdom at this point, with like. So there's different places I like to go in it, but it kind of all started in the library, and I feel like that's a good place to like do research, and then if I get bored, I have friends who can visit me there type shit. So, here we go. So I should have set up the camera while I was doing the application, because while I was doing the application, I couldn't. I just went in there and I just started putting shit on my fingers, and then it's like really messy. And then one of my takeaways is that like I'm trying to like um, smooth out something that is an inherently messy process, and it's like kind of futile here. And then I was thinking, like, as soon as I put it on, I was like, oh, when I put the gloves on, it's gonna fuck it up. And then there's like this whole feeling of like I just have to kind of like let it be messy and let it be imperfect, and then like to feel my resistance to that, right? Because it's like clearly this is how the plant wants to move. This is clearly how the energy wants to move. So I need to like embrace it. And then I left my phone in my pocket, and I was like, because at first I was just gonna let it be crusty on my hands, and then I was like, it was drying too quickly. Because like I tried to put my hands in the gloves, and I was like, oh, it's gonna fuck it up, and I'm like, it's already fucked up, man. Like the whole part of this is to like fuck up my hands and see what comes out. I'm trying to like take my mind off the vision of it being like perfectly solid black and flawless, and more of being like a tie-dye expression of the process. But I can't. It's gonna be like fixing it like needs more in that section and less in this section. um so I just put the gloves on, and like I can do more with the gloves. I can operate my phone with the gloves, which thank God, because I was like, I'm just gonna be zen for like 2 to 8 hours. Bullshit. Bullshit. Ain't no way. 20 minutes alone with my thoughts. I'm like, the first hour of this process gonna kill me. I'm like, no. But yeah, it's in there. It's in there. It's like falling out low key. See, it's like falling out. This hand I kind of wanted to rise up. But this hand I have it on the front and the back. And this hand I had it like up to there. So I'm just trying to embrace whatever the pattern is. And I set the intention with Reiki that the pattern allows more energy to flow through my channel with greater ease, with greater control, with less resistance. Allow me to magnify the strength and the power of my work. Blessed be I say, and thank you, Spirit, for facilitating this change through me and my energy. Let's go. I'm gonna be so good at channeling. I already feel it now. Low key, it's got like after I said that prayer, I'm like, or was it the coffee I had? Same difference. How else would the immaterial manifest into the material than through the material? Think on that, chat. This is my life now. Wow. So I really didn't check to see how long I've had these on, but like this is the state of affairs. I could use my phone with it. Thank God. I like actually had a convo with my mom. I was like, it's so funny. I was talking about you. And she was just basically telling me to just like hold on to my spirituality, and I'm like, Lord knows. That's what I'm doing. I'm holding on to a bunch of mud in my gloves. But like the type of meditation that I was gonna do with like sound meditation and like spirit meditation, I'm like not feeling it at this particular moment. I feel like the meditation I'm doing is so physical already that it's like, oh yeah, my mind is on it. My mind is there. So I'm just like constantly shuffling the like the material around in here and just hoping for the best, bro. Uh, so I'm just doing like the normal dumb shit that I usually do on the internet, and just like hoping for the best, rubbing my hands together like a little fly, like my lord, just dropping goop everywhere. Trusting the process. So we're still doing the Mindy treatment. I'm kind of like dropping what looks like little brown black turds everywhere. It lets me know that it's working, and I'm like sweeping it up, and I'm coming to the realization I don't know how I'm gonna eat. I like have like a tube of Doritos I'm working through right now, and I have like some tea that I made before. And in general, what this process is already showing me is like how much um, my hands allow me to interact with my physical reality, because you don't really think about it until like they're impeded, right? But they really shape so much of how I interact with space in the world, right? And I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And it's like I just did like a DoorDash. So it's been like 1 hour, and I'm on DoorDash trying to figure out like what to eat. I don't want to eat anything, bro. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I had no preparation for this. Not to say that I had preparation for any other thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. Just kind of worked out. But bro, like, uh, even I'm like trying to think, what do you eat that's like that doesn't involve your hands? Nothing. Except for like, you know what I'm talking about. But like I can't like I actually need nutrients. I actually need nutrients, and I'm like actually like really stressed about it. I'm like really stressed, and I'm like about to cry. And like I don't know if people, part of my elusive disguise is that like when I'm about to crash out, I look so joyful, but like I'm like very upset. I'm like very upset. You can see my my posture. I'm like I'm upset. I keep leaving these fucking doo doo crumbs of fucking indigo and henna everywhere. There's not an easy option. I just have to establish there's not an easy option. Nothing's gonna feel good. Like a neurodivergent tactile energy of like persistent distress, which is kind of good because it means that like it hasn't dried up. Like it's good. It's supposed to stay moist, but at the same time, it's like my hands are covered in mud in these. So it's got mud hands. Better than mud butt, but by how much? How much? Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. Technically, I could eat cereal, but I feel like if I ate cereal with my hands like this, I would crash out. I don't know what that why, but I want to honor myself and like not like have a meltdown. I ate some food. I watched a video. I'm pissed off. We're 2 hours down, which is like the minimum time, but I feel like the way that the dye is moving in my hands and on my fingers, I want to give it more, like at least double. Maybe at like 10 o'clock, I'll give up on this shit. Because eating was like not as good. It's like really setting so much intention into my hands is really like showing me like how much power they have over my reality. I think I said that already. I don't really know, man. The way I'm recording this is wild. At this point, I've had the henna on for like 2 hours. Um, and I said I wasn't going to meditate because I was pissed off. But I actually did meditate. In my meditation, I did run into a friend and they were like, "Bro, you don't meditate enough. We never hang out." And I'm like, "True." It's like, "Where the fuck are you?" And I'm like, "I'm in the real world. It sucks." But I was able to go in there, hang out for a little bit, and then like I got pulled into um like this starlight dance. Um and was kind of like it was so interesting. It kind of allowed me to like be puppeted by like this star entity, but it felt really beautiful. Like, because now like being a puppet has like a negative connotation, but I felt like I was in this like beautiful arrangement of art, and like in that process it like I physically felt like the weight in my arm, which was like super cool. um I kind of feel like the energy's in my hand still, just kind of like so like this is like really cool. It's like creating a more fluid channel for me in like a very like visceral sense. Like I feel like I can just kind of like without even really going into as deep of a meditation, just connect with that energy. And I'm like, whoa, like which energy is it? I don't know, man. Do I look like some fucking nerd to you? I think I read fucking books. I have a library. I don't read books, bro. I collect them. Duh. Oh, this feels so fucked up and weird. It feels so fucked up and weird. But we're committing to the process, you know? We're trusting the process. So I'm about 3 hours in now, and I'm starting to identify this frustration and this aggravation. um I was like trying to kind of like identify the energy without judgment, and I'm realizing what it is that I'm pulling in energy, from the earth and from my crown, but I'm not pushing it out through my hands. Like there's no energy that is flowing from my hand space, and so it's causing blockages within the energy body. And I think what that my takeaway from that at this particular moment is that um, not only is there so much physical energy that I do with my hands, because I'm also like trying to stay still so I don't get this shit everywhere. It's not really working. I'm still getting it everywhere. But there's also this unconscious energy exchange of like persistent, oof, oh, my tummy hurts too, of like persistent Reiki that I'm kind of like moving around. And so I'm also usually not this still. I'm usually all over the place, but I like overdid it for the last couple of days. And then like with this being on my hands, I'm feeling like very like muted. Like I feel like impotent. It's really weird experience. And I feel like low key humiliated because of the gloves too. I don't know where that comes from because they're just gloves. It's almost like I was just thinking of just thought association of like the mom from Dexter's Laboratory. So there does feel like some kind of like housewife, flat type of like archetype that goes on with having these things on. Like I'm like protecting myself from like the home environment or whatever. But then I also started to think about Rogue from X-Men and like how this is like how her energy works. Like she was unable to pull or take from people when she had these things on, and it's kind of like more of like the energy I'm feeling where I'm like instead of the energy of the world like flowing in and out of me, I'm actually like kind of like really self-contained right now. And typically I'm picking up on other energies a little bit more. And so it's kind of interesting because it's like I've been looking for ways to kind of like close off the empath powers, right? And this seems like one. I might have to focus on manually opening and closing my hand chakras with a little bit more intentionality, right? Because although it is like uncomfortable, I've been trying to like really tap into the energy of my discomfort for a minute. Like, for a minute, I mean, for like months. But more explicitly in the last few days of like being in this new environment. I feel like I'm still tracking in the dirt of like my past into this new reality, and like in this act of like energetically kind of cleansing myself of that energy. I feel like I have to become more intimate and more understanding of what it is and what it was. Um, but I'm also trying to do that from a place of like not necessarily intellectualizing my emotions because I know why I feel like this. I've been through some shit, but honestly, just kind of like feeling it, like how I actually like feel, and and I'm like really tapping into that and where it sits. I'm like just allowing myself to like quietly like transmute that, and knowing that like a lot of my power in transmutation is still just letting things like the energy ebb and flow in and out of my energetic body. um so this process of sitting with it, it feels like I don't know, like a keg of wine, and they're becoming something that's a little bit less, a little like a more refined version of what they were. Like they're kind of fermenting and like becoming a more developed sensation, and hopefully it'll become more palatable, even though it's like the same thing with just a little bit more time. With it like sitting in my belly like this, I know that like in like this is also kind of like a symbol of like me being in greater uh positions of solitude. And so sitting in that space, I'm gonna be able to kind of like confront these like self emotions and like attune my sense of my personal reality and like my perspective and my presentation to one that feels more in alignment with like the person I want to be. So I'm gonna be pushing and pulling this like gut energy without having external stimuli feeding into it. And so I think part of the discomfort is just not having the space or energy to do that for a very long time. And so I don't know who I'm gonna be on the other side of this self exploration through my chakras, but I know that like I'm gonna have immense um, power, resources, and capacity to do so. With a lot of wisdom on like the different modalities that I can use to do it, and then the grace of privacy to do it without like um, too much, um, too many impurities kind of affecting the natural process of distillation of my inner self. So that's cool. That being said, I can't wait to take these fucking gloves off. I still got like maybe an hour. I'm really proud that I've made it to this point though. So we'll see how it goes. Eh. So actually, it's been like 3 hours, and I'm getting a call from Spirit that I'm like not gonna get. I'm gonna get diminishing returns from this point. So I'm gonna take them off and see what we're dealing with here. Kind of scared that it's gonna look weird, but like I always look fucking weird, so I'm embracing that. Like clearly, like. Okay. So the advice I got was to like not wash my hands, but let's see. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting because I feel like it didn't. Well, what they told me, right, is that it deepens over time. I'm willing to bet. To bet? I'm willing to bet that it doesn't get that dark on me. But who could ever be sure, right? This is the kind of shit that was like in the gloves. What I'm feeling is, regardless of whether or not this stains, is that with it being just in contact with my skin and the kind of like spiritual experience I had from just going through this process, like we're good. We're good. Um, what do I do? What do I do here? What do I do here? Because if it does look, you can't really see. You can't really see. Pick the place with the worst lighting. Yeah, I'm also gonna just let it be like weird and taggy on my hands for a second. Hold on. Okay, so like, yeah, my hands are just covered in goop, right? That's like the moral of the story here. Um, yeah, my hands are just covered in goop. It's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know. This is a fun journey, right? But like as I scrape it off, they are darker. They are darker than what they were. So I'm gonna like kind of like go through a process of just kind of like scraping this off with like a paper towel, I guess. I don't want it to like stain too much. I gotta know for my kitchen sink. And then I'll come back when it's all wiped off and then we can kind of see. Alright, so. Oh, hold on. So, I mean, it's like. I don't know. It looks like I just got dirty hands, and truly it's because I have dirty hands. But this one is looking a little bit more dyed. I don't know. The way that I understand that it works is that like when you remove it, it starts off pretty light, and then over the course of a few more hours, it gets darker and darker. So I'm gonna take like a little bit of like. And then I'm just gonna like go back to using my hands as intended. Like, oh, you can see my nails are getting like really. especially like my pinky nail. Oh, that's so hot. I love that actually. The back of my hands are probably gonna go through a whole experience, but like I have no expectations about the visual experience of my hands. I'm kind of like interested in like how moving energy with them feels. So I have my one little meditation. I'll probably have another meditation, but first I'm gonna shit. I'm gonna wipe it so effectively. The club can't handle me right now. Hey chat. So it didn't really do shit. It colored my nails. It sort of colored my thumb, and then I got like an allergic reaction on my finger. But the energetic upgrade for my hand chakras is definitely felt. So I feel like it was more so like kind of engaging with the spirits of the Reiki. That second meditation, like I didn't really do it. I didn't really do it. I'm not like a meditation person. I kind of get it in when I fit it in. When I try to schedule it, it doesn't really feel organic to like the nature of everything. But like I think in the future, I'm just gonna get some Java cones and just kind of dye my fingers to get that aesthetic effect that I want. Um, but energetically, it really did the job, and I'm really happy about it.